Welcome to Tansson TV Plus. I'm Brandon.
And I'm Mom.
Thank you so much for joining us here today.
Yep, thank you for joining with us again.
Yes, we always love doing this. And Mom, are you excited to head into another TV discussion? How are you doing today?
Brandon, I'm doing fine. And yes, I'm excited to talk about another TV show.
And Mom, which one is this?
Today we're going to talk about The Miniature Wife.
Yes, and so this series released on the Peacock streaming service on April the 9th, 2026.
Yes, it did. Brandon, you ready for me to get a very brief synopsis of the show?
I sure am. Mom, what's the episode called?
The episode is called Lady Tomato and Mr. F Tomato Head. And Brandon, what a mouthful that is. Alrighty. So basically, Lindy and Les, they're a married couple who have recently gone through therapy. They decide that they want to renew their vows. And so Lindy, professionally, has written a bestseller book, and she did that years ago. Les, he actually wants to be recognized. Currently, he's working on a project to shrink food. However, he really doesn't know how to regrow or enlarge the food after it is shrunk. And so a dinner party does occur. And after the party, Lindy is accidentally shrunk by her husband's invention. And that's the generic premise. We had a lot that went on, but that's kind of the generic premise of the first episode.
Well, Mom, thank you so much for that.
You're welcome, Brandon.
And overall, what were your thoughts about the episode?
Oh, Brandon, I had a lot of thoughts about this episode. First of all, I thought it was a really interesting show. However, it was much slower paced than I thought it would be. It was actually much deeper than I thought it would be. I've got issues that I'd like to talk about that they kind of went over in the show. But Brandon, in general, were you shocked at just the general premise of the show?
I mean, the general premise, as a whole, of that she shrinks, that's to be expected, the wife. Yeah. But, and so I think that part itself is quite amusing, and certainly the babble is just a matter of, there was a lot of babble. And obviously, for a 10-episode series, you would have expected, as it did, that the shrinking part won't happen until the end of episode 1. It's just a matter of, episode 1 had a lot of things going on within it, and this is a 10-episode miniseries.
It is, and I guess they do need the 10 episodes. I was really surprised to see it was 10 episodes. We've gotten so used to 6 to 8 episodes, and these are close to 40, 45-ish minutes apiece. And so I'm really surprised at how much they plan to tackle. At least it appears as though they plan to tackle within for 10 episodes. And so first of all, their marriage. That is something that it is apparently kind of rocky right now. And so that's one of the things I'm assuming they're going to tackle within these 10 episodes. They do have a daughter, and they do mention the daughter. Her name is Lulu. However, apparently it seems as though the relationship that they have with their daughter doesn't seem as strong, because the wife, Lindy, does make a comment that it's been a while since she's spoken to her daughter. And so I'm assuming somewhere in there, they'll talk about the relationship with her daughter. The series seems to be talking about recognition also. Both have been recognized for different things. Basically, as I kind of mentioned, Les is just kind of jealous at this wife. So jealousy is one of the issues that I'm assuming they're going to discuss within the series. And so, but recognition, meaning that she has been recognized for this novel that she wrote, and he wants to be recognized for something. And at this point in time is for this food shrinking apparatus, whatever that he's made. Then of course there's the obvious, the shrinking. We have to unshrink the wife. And so that's something that will be tackled. And then plagiarism. And plagiarism in the sense of, on the wife's side, not for what she's already written, but for the book that could possibly happen, or maybe not necessarily book, the article, whichever one that it kind of comes from it, that could possibly happen, even though she wasn't necessarily involved with the original plagiarism portion of it. And then she has a suitor out there who has making googly eyes at her. And so she doesn't quite know what to do with him either. So we've got a lot of things to tackle here, and like I said, this is something I just was not expecting from this show. I just thought it was going to be a cutesy little show about, she shrunk. Now, how do we unshrink her?
Yes, and at least for me, and so some of my thoughts. Yeah, I would say out of the many plots, I like going through the ones that I feel worked and which ones didn't as much. I do like the thought of there is this other man out there. I like the plagiarism plot because I feel like that's a fun one to sort of play off of, for the series. But some of the other stuff I feel like was a lot to do a deep dive in for episode one. And I'm not saying that it needed to have been per se outright excluded, but maybe like each of those plots could have had their own episode as opposed to going into so much detail in episode one.
Yeah, either that or unless each episode will tackle one of each of the many topics that have come up. And that's the only thing that I can think of right now. Just so everyone knows, I have not seen anything further than the first episode. I kind of want to talk about this one before we moved on with future episodes. I didn't want to get make it all confused in the process. And so I decided to stop after the first episode. And I think you were the same.
That's correct.
Okay. Yeah, so it'll be interesting to see if they kind of continue on this serious track or whether or not they make light fun of some of these. I'm not sure which way they're going to go.
Yeah, I'm not sure either. And I will say too that because these are longer episodes, I know it all released at once. I think it would have made more sense, at least again, for us having seen the first episode only, if these were shorter episodes and are all released at once, or for these longer episodes that they had released weekly. But I feel for longer episodes and for 10 episodes that all released at once is a lot of content. Whereas I feel, even if this is more than a movie, maybe if it was just like movie length episodes, and fewer episodes.
Yeah, and maybe that would work better. Like I said, we haven't seen the other episodes, so maybe the other ones will appear as though they're not as long as they are. I just know that this first episode appeared longer. I will say I did have to watch it twice because I wanted to make sure I caught everything. So I did end up watching it twice.
And I guess for the question of would you watch more episodes, would you?
Actually, Brandon, I think I would watch more episodes. I would not watch it all at one time. No, I think I'd take my time watching it and then just kind of put one on every here and now and then. Maybe we'll kind of cycle back around and kind of look at it at the end later, a couple months from now. But for right now, yes, I will continue watching, and I think I do want to see how they kind of wrap all of these many different themes or topics up.
Yes. And from doing my quick research, I do believe uh, that the story for this movie is inspired or based off of, at least to some extent, I'm not sure how much extent, off of a short story collection, I believe.
Okay. And I can't remember. Do you remember who wrote the collection?
Let's see, it is Manuel Gonzalez.
Okay. That person I don't know. But yeah, so I will continue watching it. And Brian, I like to rate our shows 1 through 5, 5 being the highest. I give this one a 3. And I think a 3 more so because of the pacing. So we'll see, what my thoughts are later. But for right now, I think I landed straight on the 3.
All right. And Mom, you might be shocked, but I actually gave it a 2.5.
I told her, oh wow. Normally, Brandon, you are you're more generous than I am. So wow, that's shocking.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly feel that the pacing was definitely, well done. But I feel like we try to cram a lot into one episode enough where I think it's fine when some things go over your head because you understand it later in this season. But I also don't think you need to go into so much depth for everything, especially because I think about too that the show also goes out of its way to present itself maturely, if you will, especially with the language aspect of it. Um, but I don't feel it was necessarily I don't think it was necessary for the plot per se, other than that they just wanted to show that these are adult people that are at their breaking point, and that they're just going to use language because of it, but also that they are all chaotic in their own lives, let alone as a couple. Um, that again, there's just so much going on. I feel if it was a little bit more like you build up to it a little bit more, or whatever, I felt it would have been I don't know, a better experience, let's say.
Yeah, Brandon, and that it's interesting that you brought up the language piece also because that was something I had a concern about. I was surprised at the amount of language that was used in this show. I'm used to here and there, but I was not ready for this from the show.
Yes, and again, like I was saying, I don't feel like that it was all necessary because, like you said, one or two things that's fine. I think it would have more of an impact. Like, if you can sort of dilute the whole impact by having words like every single sentence for everything, and there wasn't really like a punch to it, like it was earned. It was just sort of there to be there.
Yeah, I completely agree with you there, Brandon. I completely agree. Did we have any connections with this show?
Mom, we do.
Oh, what are our connections, Brand?
So we have a connection with one of our actresses, and then one of our guest actors.
All right, let us. What are they, Brand?
Okay, so for our main actress, the miniature wife herself, we have actress Elizabeth Banks, and she was a guest on the first episode of the Muppet Show 2010 series, where she was a guest on, well, Miss Piggy's talk show as
Oh,
her arch enemy.
I might have to go back and take a look at that. All right, and what's our second connection?
Yes, and I will say that you probably best know her, of course, from the game show. Mom, do you remember what game show she was on?
I think it's Press Our Luck.
Yes, it is.
Yes, yeah, I do. And we haven't talked about that on here, but yes, I have periodically watched Press Our Luck.
Yes, and then in terms of the billionaire Hilton Smith we have on here, he is played by Ronnie Chang, and he was on Jugi Kame Aloha MD.
Yes, and I do. When I saw him on there, I knew exactly where he was from.
Yes, I really do like him as an actor, and I thought that he actually brought a lot to this episode.
Yeah, he did. And then he's going to be on another show, a future show that we're going to talk about. Do you want to say which one that is, Brandon?
Oh, well, let's go ahead. Yeah, we'll build up the hype for it now. So this is The Fall and Rise of Reggie Dinkins.
Yes, we know that we're going to talk about that pretty soon, so we could say that that we do know him from that show also.
Yes, in a very identical role.
Yes, it is. It is. All right. But did you have anything else you want to talk about with this show, Brandon?
No, I mean, I'm definitely intrigued to see how the episodes continue forward, and if everything is as fast paced as this one is, with everything happening all at once, or if it's going to be like I was mentioning earlier, that yeah, each episode has a different plot. Because we do know, of course, the daughter is coming back. Will she be a part of the dynamic? And I do hope, like I said, the storyline I'm excited to sort of see is the whole plagiarism one. Just because I feel like that's probably not going to be their central focus, but I think it's an interesting thought because I mean it's sort of the race against time that you need her to be full size to prevent this.
Yeah.
Um, to me, that's the plot I'm excited for.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure which one stands out most for me. Of course, I'd like to see the daughter and kind of see how her relationship is with her parents. Of course, I'd like to see how what the other company thinks about the fact that Les has not figured out how to unsize or to make larger, the products that he's producing because that is the one thing they did ask for him to do. So, so I'd like to see how he kind of gets around that with the company per se.
And I will point out that I think this series takes place around Christmas time.
I think it does too. I think it does too. But we'll check it out to see.
Yeah, well, Mom, we always love doing this.
Yep, we sure do. Guys, let us know. Is this a show that you've seen? If so, let us know in the comments. And what are your thoughts? And we'd love to hear from you.
Yes, definitely do. It's not every day that we get to speak about a show that's on IMDb's current top 100 list.
I know it's not. So we thank everybody for watching.
And we look forward to seeing you next time.
All right, have a great day, everybody.